and welcome to a very special on-deck baseball gameplay video. Today, we are going to have opening day for Project 61. Project 61, if you don't know, is a community playthrough for the New York American League 1961 ball club going up against all of their opponents throughout their 1961 season. Now, how is that occurring, you may ask? Well, 1961 Season Set is soon to be released by On Deck Baseball. You can check out the link below for a little preview video of that set that will be released for more information on that. Community members throughout the community have been selected to play out and selected their own teams to play out this replay. And we will be posting results in the order as the games appeared in 1961 on the schedule. So if you're interested in more information on that, definitely stay tuned to further videos. Check out that 1961 Season Set preview video, and please hit that thumbs up and leave a comment below. That will help these videos get more recognition. But today on the table, as I mentioned, opening day for 1961, and we have New York American League 1961 Whitey Ford on the hill going up against 1961 Minnesota AL Pedro Ramos on the hill. These are two very good teams. Both had decent records in 1961, so we'll see how things shake out here on opening day. Without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and switch up these pitchers. As normal with my paper sheets on the score sheets, I do have the pitcher ratings listed at the top. That will get this game moving a little bit faster. I am not using Game Changer or the tablet for these games. So, as I mentioned, Minnesota versus New York, and we're going to go ahead and switch up, get Whitey Ford over on the hill as New York is the home team. And we're going to go ahead and commence first pitch here, as Julio Versal will be the first batter, and he is a righty hitter going up against the lefty Whitey Ford, and here's our first confrontation roll of the game. And it's going to be a +2 on the roll. That's going to go up to a batter's card, and a 7-5 is going to be a ground out. So our first out of the game is a ground out to first. As a 3U, we'll get things started. I'll go ahead and switch these guys over so we can get a little bit more comfortable here on the table. Lenny Green is going to be the next batter. It's going to be lefty versus lefty, and that is going to be a -1 towards Whitey Ford. We roll an 8 though. That goes down to a 7, and it's going to be a batter's card for Lenny Green. I'll be reading the blue die first as usual, and it's going to be a 7-3 is another ground ball, and that grounder is going to go to third. We got a 5-3 for the second out of opening day. That's going to bring up killer Harmon Killebrew in 1961. Pretty good season for him. 288 average, 46 home runs, 107 walks against 109 Ks, so another powerful season for him. He is a right-handed batter. It's going to be +1 on the roll. We get a batter's card for Killer. And an 8-3 is going to be a ground ball as we get a 1-2-3 inning for Whitey Ford here, as it will be a 3-1 with Ford covering. Got a 1-2-3 inning. We're going to move to the bottom of the first now. And that's going to be Pedro Ramos versus Bobby Richardson. Now, Ramos actually got a complete game victory in this game in 1961, so it'll be interesting to see how that works out. Richardson, the batter, is a righty. Ramos is a righty pitcher. It's going to be -2 on the roll. That's going to go down to a pitcher's card. And a 6-1 is going to be a ground ball. So nothing but grounders so far here to kick off the 1961 season, as a 5-3 will be the first out in the bottom of the first. Hector Lopez will be the batter. He's in left field today. It's going to be -2 on the roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Ramos. And a 10-3 is going to be a line out. So we get one off the ground, but it's going to be a line out for Lopez to shortstop, as Versal will pick it up. And here comes Yogi Berra, 271 hitter, 22 home runs in 1961, towards the latter stages of his career. And it's going to be a lefty versus righty. It's going to be +1 on the roll. That's going to be a batter's card for Berra. Can he do something with it? A 9-6, and we have our first base hit of the game. Berra is going to be safe at first on a single. That goes to right field, and that's going to bring up Mickey Mantle, switch hitter. Now, we all know the chase. Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris for the home run record. Mantle had 54 home runs, slugged 687 in 1961 with a batting average of 317. So part of this replay as we move forward with Project 61 is going to be counting up all the bombs that Mantle and Maris hit throughout the season to see if we can catch that home run record by Babe Ruth. All right, so we got a man on first and 2 away. Mickey Mantle is a batter. He's a switch hitter, so it's going to be a +1 on a roll. That's going to be a batter's card for Mantle. Can he hit one out here to start off the season? He cannot. That's going to be a strikeout. So Mantle will go down swinging, and that is the end of the first inning as we head to the top of the second. No score here on opening night or opening day. It's opening day right now. When we're watching it, it will be opening night. All right, so that is going to bring up Jim Lemon. Jim Lemon, the cleanup hitter for Minnesota. He's in left field. He batted .258 with 14 home runs in 1961. He is a righty batter. It's going to be -1 on the roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Ford. And a 7-2 is going to be another ground ball. So Minnesota cannot get the ball off the ground, as that will go to the second baseman. Richardson will pick it up and shoot it over to Skowron at first base. Bobby Allison, the batter now. He hit 29 home runs, batted only .245 though, but still a pretty good season for Allison. And he is going to be an equal roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Ford. And a 6-1 is another ground ball. That grounder is going to go to second, 4-3, as Richardson picks it up and shoots it over to Skowron again. That's going to bring up the catcher, Earl Batty, a .302 average, 17 home runs. Righty versus lefty, it's going to be equal roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card. Can we get another consecutive 1-2-3 inning? That'll give us a chance to roll on the poise chart. A 10-5, we do not. That is a first base runner for Minnesota, as Batty will draw a walk. We have man on first and 2 away. That's going to bring up Reno Bertoia. I'm sorry if I mispronounced some of these names, but I think I got that one right. .212 hitter, 1 home run. He is playing third base here on opening day. And it is going to be, let's see, he's a righty. So it's going to be -1 on the roll. That's going to be a batter's card for Bertoia. A 4-1 is going to be a ground ball, and that's going to do it here in the top of the first, as that grounder will go to third, 5-3. That's going to bring us up to the bottom of the second now. Pedro Ramos still on the mound. And that's going to bring up the eventual record-breaking player, Roger Maris. 61 home runs, .620 slugging, a .269 average. I believe he was MVP of the season. So let's see how he starts off his season here in Project 61. It's going to be let's see, he's a lefty batter against the righty. It's going to be +1. That's going to be a pitcher's card. A 3-5 is going to be a strikeout. So just like Mantle, he's going to go down on strikes, but he'll be looking. And that's going to bring up Moose Bill Skowron, 28 home runs, a .267 average. Not many people know, but he had a career year in 1961 as well. So very good offensive numbers by him. It's going to be a -1 on the roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card. A 2-6 is going to be a ground ball. And that grounder is going to go to third, 5-3 for the second out here in the bottom of the second. Tony Kubek, the shortstop, 8 home runs, .276 average, a .305 on base. Average defender at shortstop. He's a left-handed batter. It's going to be +1 on a roll. That's going to be a batter's card for Kubek. A 6-7, and we have a base hit, second base hit of the game, and the second for New York. With 2 outs, we have Clete Boyer up. Boyer, fantastic third baseman, only batted .224 in 1961, 11 home runs. Right-handed batter against a right-handed pitcher is going to be -1. That's going to go down to a pitcher's card for Ramos. A 10-2 is a line out, so the line out is going to end the inning, as it will be lined right to first base, and Killebrew will take it for the final out here in the bottom of the second. That is going to bring us to the top of the third. Ford cruising still. He did give up the walk. But that's going to bring up Billy Gardner, who later in the season would be a teammate of Mantle and Maris. But for now, he batted .234 with 1 home run in limited at-bats with Minnesota. So he is the batter. It's going to be righty versus lefty, so it's going to be equal roll. That is going to be a pitcher's card for Ford. A 7-1 is going to be a ground ball. And that is a 6-3 as a shortstop. Quebec will shoot it over to Scourin for the first out here in the top of the third. That's going to bring up the pitcher, Pedro Ramos. We are using pitcher-hitter cards here for this playthrough. And that is going to be, let's see, a +2 on the roll. And that's going to be a batter's card for the pitcher's card here. And a 9-1 is going to be a grounder. And that ground out is going to go to third base, a 5-3 for the second out here in the top of the third. That's going to bring up the top of the order. Julio Versal, as Minnesota's still looking for their first base hit of the game. Whitey Ford is getting them on all ground balls here to start things out. And it's going to be +2 on the roll. That's going to be a batter's card, Versal. A 2-6 is another ground out. And that grounder is going to go to second base, a 4-3, as Whitey Ford is in control here early on. We're going to head over to the bottom of the third now. Pedro Ramos still on the mound, and he'll be facing the pitcher. And we have a, let's see, left-hander in Whitey Ford, so it's going to be a +1 on the roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card. And a 6-2 is going to be a flyout. That flyout is going to go to right field. Ford gets a piece of it, but falls short halfway between right and first base for the first out here in the bottom of the third. And that's going to bring up Bobby Richardson now. He's 0 for 1, grounded out to third base in his first at-bat. It's going to be -2. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Ramos. A 3-4 is a strikeout. Both pitchers in control here. I guess the batters didn't get warm enough during spring training. And there were, it was an interesting start to the season for 1961. There were a lot of rainouts, so a lot of double headers in the first month, and a wacky schedule to say the least. Minnesota was the first opponent for 1961 New York, but they only played one game to start off the series and then quickly went up against the Athletics. So we have 2 outs here, and Hector Lopez is the batter. It's going to be -2. That's going to go down to a pitcher's card. And a 2-7 is going to be a situation. So early on in the season, we get a situation chart. We're going to have to roll to see what goes on here. Hopefully we don't get any injuries. We'll roll 2 die. And it's going to be on the third baseman, which is Bertoya for Minnesota. We roll 1 die. It's going to be a 10. Batter hits weak ground ball to third. Third baseman tries to complete the play to first with a barehanded grab. If third baseman's defensive rating plus roll plus the batter's speed is less than 7, batter is out at first on a 5-3. All runners will advance if on base. Well, there's nobody on base. We're going to take that fielded rating for Bertoya. Now remember, always keep it a negative number, so it's a -2. The batter's speed is a 3, so already we're at a +1 to a roll. And we're going to go ahead and roll 1 die, and that's going to be an 8. So if it's less than 7, the batter is out, but it is not, and Hector Lopez beats it out for an infield base hit, the third hit of the game, and the third hit for New York. And that's going to bring up Yogi Berra, left-handed batter. It's going to be +1. That's going to be a batter's card for Berra. A 4-10 is another situation, 2 in a row. To highlight this opening day, we'll go ahead and roll on the chart again. And it is going to be a 9-5 on the third baseman once again. So Bertoya getting some action down there at third base. We roll a 4 this time. Batter hits weak ground ball to third base. Third baseman tries to complete the barehanded grab. We have the same exact situation here, except now you have to roll less than a 6 to get it. So the speed of Berra is just a 2. Bertoya, we already saw, is a -2, so that's already a wash. So it's going to be a straight roll. And if it is less than 6, it's an out. And it's a 2. The only play is at first, but there was already 2 outs anyway. So a 5-3 as Bertoya can make this barehanded grab, and Berra is out at first. That's going to do it here in the bottom of the third, and we'll head over to the top of the fourth with no score. The New York team, the only team with hits, with 3. And Whitey Ford still on the mound for New York. And Lenny Green will be leading off here in the top of the fourth. He is 0 for 1, grounded out to third, as Minnesota is still looking for their first base hit. He is a left-handed batter. It's going to be -1 on the roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Ford. And a 3-3 is going to be a strikeout. That is the first strikeout for Ford, as he has yet to relinquish a base hit, but his first K and just one walk allowed so far. And that's going to bring up Killer Harmon Killebrew. He grounded out to first in his first at-bat. It's going to be a +1. That's going to be a big-time batter's card for Killer. And 8-10 is a home run. Killer gets a piece of it, and we have a 1-0 ball game as Harmon Killebrew mashes a home run, and Minnesota will take a 1-0 lead as Killebrew puts Minnesota on the board for the first run of the ball game. That's going to bring up Jim Lemon now, 14 home runs in 1961. See if Minnesota can capitalize on this. It's going to be a -1 on a roll. That's going to be a batter's card for Lemon. A 5-3 is going to be a ground ball plus. We're going to see where that goes. That ground ball plus goes to shortstop. The arm on Quebec is a 3, and we're doing risk first base here. It's a 40% chance that Jim Lemon is going to beat this out. We roll an 8. He does not. Quebec with a barehanded grab himself over to first base for Scourin, and a second out here in the top of the 4th. That's going to bring up Bob Allison now. He is 0 for 1. He grounded out to second. It's going to be an equal roll. Got a batter's card there. And a 9-10. Whitey Ford giving up another home run, this time to Allison, as Minnesota now is up 2-0 with 2 solo shots. Their only hits of the ball game are both home runs. 2-0 now, Minnesota here in the top of the 4th. And that's going to bring up Earl Batty, the catcher. He is 0 for 0 as he walked in his first at-bat. It's going to be equal roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card. Ford trying to get things under control here. He will strike out Batty for the last out here in the top of the 4th, but not before Killer, Harmon Killebrew, and Bob Allison get Minnesota up on the board with 2 solo shots as they now lead 2-0, entering the bottom of the 4th. New York looking to put some runs on the board themselves, as Mickey Mantle, the Commerce Comet, will be leading off here in the bottom of the 4th. He is a switch hitter. It's going to be +1 on a roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Ramos. A 9-9 is a double, so he hits it into the gap to between left and center, and Mantle is aboard in safely at second base, and that's going to bring up Roger Maris, who struck out in his first at-bat. It's going to be lefty versus righty. It's going to be a +1 on a roll. It's going to be a pitcher's card. A 4-7 is going to be a ground ball, so we'll see if this advances Mantle as the ground ball goes to second, and it will. The 4-3, Mantle will move over to third base. We have a man on third with only 1 out. Here comes Moose Scourin. He grounded out to third base his first at-bat. It's going to be a -1. That is a batter's card for Scourin. A 2-4, though, is going to be a strikeout. So we have 2 away. Mantle still waiting on third to be knocked in. And that's going to bring up Quebec. He got a single in his first at-bat. It's going to be +1 on the roll. That's batter's card for Quebec. And a 2-3 is going to be a strikeout. So Mantle will stay at third stranded as the last out of the bottom of the 4th will set things down here as Minnesota still leads 2-0. And we're going to head back over to the top of the 5th now as Bertoya, who got some action the last couple of innings on some situation charts. He was 1 for 2 in those plays. He'll be the first batter here in the top of the 5th. He is 0 for 1, grounded out to third base. It's going to be a -1. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Ford. A 7-7 is a base hit. Victoria will get a base hit here to lead things off, as Ford has now allowed 3 hits, 2 of the 3 home runs. Billy Gardner will be the batter. It's going to be a equal roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Ford. A 10-1 is a fly out. Gardner will fly out to left field for the first out here in the top of the 5th. And that'll bring up the pitcher, Pedro Ramos. He's 0 for 1, grounded out to third. A +2 on the roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card. A 10-9, sorry, a 9-10 is a possible home run by the pitcher. It is a -4 on Whitey Ford's card, so that's going to be a difficult play as the power for Ramos is just a 1. It's a -3 on a roll. If it's 6 or above with that, it will be a home run. A 4 -3 is a 1. It is a fly out, but a deep fly ball as Ramos gets a piece of it, but he flies out to the deepest part of the park as center fielder Mickey Mantle will come back with it in his glove. So a little scare for Ford there as he almost gave up a home run to the pitcher for the 3rd home run of the game. But Mantle comes down with it, and we have 2 away here in the top of the 5th, and Versal will be the batter with a man on first. It's going to be +2 on a roll. That's going to be a batter's card for Versal. An 8-4 is a flyout, and that will do it as the flyout will go to right. 3 away, and we head to the bottom of the 5th. New York down 2-0, and Boyer will be the first batter. Boyer 0 for 1. He lined out to first base in his first at bat. It's going to be a -1. That'll go down to a pitcher's card for Ramos, and a 2-7 is a situation. We're getting a lot of situations here on opening day. Let's see. It seems like they do come in bunches. Let's get my situation chart out again. I think I'd keep it more handy at this point. And a 7-10 is going to be on the catcher Batty. We're going to roll 1 die. We roll a 10. Batter hits ground ball to shortstop. Catcher hurts ankle while backing up the throw to first. Catcher is pulled from the game and tests later show a severe ankle sprain. Catcher will miss the next 2 games. So Batty is going to have to come out of the game. Now with this replay, we are playing historical lineups and starting pitchers, but from that point, what happens in the game is completely up to the players. Don't want to handcuff anybody rolling the dice here. So for me, I am taking out Batty, and we're going to have to look for a backup catcher now. And that is going to be Ron Henry. I'll go ahead and write him in here. Not a very good offensive player. He's about an average defender with just a 2 arm. New York didn't steal very much, so not sure we have to worry too much about that. But we are going to have to take out Batty. Now with whoever's playing Minnesota out there, I believe it's Ray, you don't have to worry about that. Batty will be back in your lineup, so no worries there. Now the play was made. It is an out on a 6-3. Just the catcher was injured on backing up the play. So with that, we're going to bring up our pitcher, Whitey Ford. He is 0 for 1, flew out to right field in his first at bat. He is a lefty. It's going to be +3. It's going to stay a batter's card, sorry. And an 8-4 is going to be a strikeout. That's going to bring us to the top of the order. Bobby Richardson, New York, still looking for their first run. They have 4 hits on the day. And it's going to be -2 on a roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card. And a 5-5 is a flyout. Richardson will fly out to end the bottom of the 5th here as he flies out to center. That is going to bring us to the top of the 6th. And we're going to have to start rolling on these pitchers. 1960s were heavy for complete games, as most of you know. So Ford, a 5-4. That's going to be a pretty decent roll there. He does have a -2. So we're going to go ahead and roll 1 die. We roll a 6, and that is no change. So far, Ford is good. Ramos did get a complete game in this game, historically speaking. Ford, I believe, came out after the 6th, but he seems to be doing okay so far, even though he allowed the 2 home runs, the 2 solo shots. Lenny Green will be the batter. It's 0 for 2. He's 0 for 2. It's going to be a -1. That's going to be a batter's card for Green. A 2-9 is going to be a flyout. That flyout is going to go to right field. That's going to bring up Killebrew, a solo shot in his last at-bat. He's 1 for 2. It's going to be +1. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Ford. A 3-9 is a walk, so Killer gets aboard. Not a threat to steal there. And Jim Lemon will be the batter. He's 0 for 2, grounded out twice. It's going to be -1 on a roll. That's going to be a batter's card for Lemon. A 2-6 is a strikeout, so Ford will get him down on swings. As Bob Allison, who hit a solo shot his last at-bat, is now the batter. He's 1 for 2. It's going to be a equal roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Ford. And a 1-10 is a line out. So Ford will get out of this inning as a line out to third base will end it. Ramos, now we have to roll on his fatigue chart. He's not as strong as Ford, as he only had 9 complete games during the season, but still a 5-3 is pretty good numbers here. We're going to go ahead and roll 1 die. Roll a 10, it is a -1, so he's down to a 1-3. Looking like he is going to run into some struggles based on his ratings. All right, so that's going to bring up Hector Lopez. It's going to be a -1 now. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Ramos. A 6-3 is a flyout. That flyout is going to go to right for the first out here in the bottom of the 6th. Yogi Berra, the batter. It's going to be a +2 on a roll now for Berra. That's a big-time batter's card. We'll see what Berra can do with it. A 7-9 is a base hit. Berra is aboard for the second time. He's now 2 for 3. Mickey Mantle, 1 for 2 with a double. Back in the 4th inning, he's now the batter. I have a man on first. It's going to be, let's see, +2 on a roll now. That's going to be a batter's card. What will Mantle do here? Nothing. A 1-7 is a pop-out. Ramos jams him as he will pop out the second. Maris now the batter. Left-handed batter. It's going to be +2 on a roll. That's going to be a batter's card. A 5-10 Maris is a possible error. We're going to have to roll on the same matrix. A 7-6 is a flyout. We'll see where the flyout goes. It goes to right field. The right fielder, Allison. We got him up on a pile already. We're going to check his primary. Let me just make sure that is his primary position. Yep, we're going to check his primary position. And it's an 8. Is no error. Allison comes up with it, as New York was really looking for that, but he does not, as the flyout to right is going to end things here in the bottom of the 6th. We head to the top of the 7th, as Ford is still on the mound, but we are going to have to roll on his fatigue chart. Second inning passed now. We roll a 7, and that is no change. Ford is still good. And that's going to bring up new catcher Ron Henry. Nothing but 1s across that offensive board, so not the greatest offensive player, as I mentioned earlier. It's going to be a -2 on a roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Ford. A 4-4 is going to be a strikeout. Henry out on strikes looking, and that will bring up Bertoya, who's 1 for 2. It's going to be -1. That's going to be a batter's card for Bertoya. A 7-8 is a walk. Bertoya is aboard for the second time. We have a man on first, and Billy Gardner, the batter. He's 0 for 2. It's going to be equal roll. It's going to be a pitcher's card. A 5-1 is a ground ball, possible double play shot here. Grounder will go to third base. Boyer is a 5. Bertoya is on. He's already out as a 5-4. Second baseman Richardson will pick it up. He's a 3 on Gardner. Got a 40% chance that Gardner will beat it out. We roll an 8. That is not part of that 40% chance. And that is a 5-4-3. And that might have just saved Ramos from coming out of the game, because we probably would have put in a pinch hitter there for Ramos. But that doesn't mean that he may not come out of the game yet, as we head to the bottom of the 7th, and we are going to have to roll on him. We're rolling on the second one past. And we roll an 8. That is a -1. That brings him down. Ramos is going to come out of the game here in favor of a relief pitcher. And that is going to be... Minnesota doesn't have a very strong pitching staff here. We're going to put in Sadowski for a couple innings here. See how this moves us. So Sadowski is a righty. Can go 2. He's a 2-1. All right. See what happens now. Scouring the batter. He is a righty, so it's going to be +2 on a roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card. A 4-2 is going to be a flyout, as that flyout is going to go to right. Quebec, left-handed batter, it's going to be +1. That's going to be a batter's card. A 6-6 is going to be a grounder, and that ground ball is going to go to second, 4-3. That's going to bring up Cleet Boyer. We have 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th, and it's going to be +2 on a roll. That's going to be a batter's card for Boyer. A 7-2 is a ground ball, and that grounder to third base is going to end it here in the bottom of the 7th. A 5-3, and Minnesota still is up 2-0. That, folks, is going to bring up the pitcher who we just put in. And you know what? I think we are going to put in a pinch hitter. And that pinch hitter is going to be Don Mincher, as he will be getting an at-bat here. Just put him in real quick. And Ford, we do need to roll on him. This is going to be the 3rd inning passed now. He has no changes to his abilities, and still yet no change. So Whitey Ford pitching very well, aside from the fact that he gave up those 2 solo shots. And Mincher is a left-handed batter. It's going to be a, let's see, -3 on a roll. That's going to go down to a pitcher's card. And a 6-8 is going to be a walk. So Mincher gets aboard via the walk, and we're going to head to the top of the order. I'll have to take out Mincher and get back over there. That's going to bring up Versal with nobody out, 1 on, and it's going to be +2 on a roll. That's going to be a batter's card for Versal. A 4-7 is a ground ball. We got a double play opportunity here. The grounder is going to go to third. That is Boyer. He is a 5. It looks like I'll be able to take him out of the pile after all, as he is already out on a 5-4. And then the second baseman, Richardson, is a 3. I got a 50-50 shot here at getting the double play. We roll a 10. Versal is going to reach via the fielder's choice on a 5-4. So we exchange runners as we get somebody a little bit faster on bases now. And Lenny Green will be the batter. It's lefty versus lefty. It's going to be -1. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Ford. A 9-5 is a flyout. So a big roll, but it's going to equate to a fly ball to right for the second out here in the top of the 8th. And that's going to bring up Killaroo. He is 1 for 2 with a home run and a walk. See if he can do some more damage here. It's going to be +1 on a roll. That's going to be a batter's card. Very scary batter's card, in fact. And a 9-2, almost. A 9-2 is going to be a ground ball. That grounder is going to get Ford out of the inning, as it will be right back to Ford, in fact, as he will shift it over to Scarron for the final out here in the top of the 8th. And that's going to bring up Ford, the hitter. And I think we are going to have a pinch hitter, in fact, as Ford is going to come out of the game. Sadowski actually is going to come out of the game as well, as we had a pinch hitter there. So the new pitcher is going to be Lee Strange for Minnesota. So I will put him in. And yeah, so Lee Strange is the new pitcher here, and our pinch hitter is going to be you know what? I think we're going to go with Elston Howard getting an at-bat here. Elston Howard in 1961, 21 home runs, a .348 average, so pretty good matchup here, I feel. As Howard will get the pinch hitting duties, we'll just write him in real quick. And it is going to be righty versus righty. It's going to be a +1 on a roll. That's going to be a batter's card for Howard. A 7-6 is going to be a base hit. So Howard is aboard with a single. And we'll keep him in the pile until we need to take him out. And that's going to bring us to the top of the order. Bobby Richardson, the batter, against Lee Strange. And it's going to be, let's see, I put in Strange. That's going to be a -1 on a roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card. A 9-1 is a flyout, and that flyout will go to left. We have one away here, man on first, as New York's still trying to get on the board. It's going to be -1. That's going to be a batter's card for Hector Lopez. A 3-9 is a flyout. That flyout is going to go to right. 2 away, 1 man on. Yogi Berra now the batter. He is 2 for 3. He's been one of the lone highlights, although Mantle did have a double. But Berra, the most hits for an individual New York player here. And it's going to be +2 on the roll. That's going to be a batter's card for Berra. A 7-6 is a ground out, almost a walk. And that ground out's going to go to short. A 6-3 is going to do it here in the bottom of the 8th. I'm going to go ahead and take out Howard so I don't screw up any batting order there. And that's going to do it for New York in the bottom of the 8th. We're going to head to the top of the 9th now. Minnesota's still up 2-0. Ford is coming out. And we are going to bring in Jim Coates. New York, a much better bullpen than Minnesota. Coates, a 3.44 ERA, 1.28 whip, 5 saves. So Coates will be the new pitcher. Go ahead and write him in as well. All right. So the new pitcher will face Lemon for his first at-bat, our first batter. And it's going to be equal roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Coates. A 9-3, and that's going to be a flyout. Flyout will go to left field. Bob Allison will be the batter. Allison's going to be -2 on the roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Coates. A 2-8 is a pop-out. And that pop-out is going to go to behind the plate. The catcher, Berra, is going to pick it up. And that's going to bring up Minnesota's catcher, Ron Henry. He struck out in his first at-bat. It's going to be -2 on the roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Coates. And a 7-2 is going to be a flyout. That flyout is going to go to left. That's going to bring us to the bottom of the 9th. Minnesota still up 2-0. So now we're going to take a look at a relief pitcher here as we are going to bring in Don Lee, who had 3 saves in 1961 for Minnesota. So, let's see, we're going to take out Strange. His last batter was Berra, pitched 1 inning. And Lee is going to be facing off against Mickey Mantle to lead things off here in the bottom of the 9th. The last chance for New York 1961 American League. Lee coming into the ballgame, 1961 numbers, 3.52 ERA, 1.11 whip, 65 Ks against 35 walks, and I mentioned those 3 saves. All right, so here we go. Let's get things started. Mickey Mantle is going to be a switch hitter, so he'll be batting from the left side. It's going to be a -1 on the roll. That is going to be a batter's card for the Mick. But an 8-1 is going to be a walk, so we do get him on with nobody out, and that's going to bring up Maris. Maris now 0 for 3 is a left-handed batter. It's going to be -1 on the roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Lee. A 6-5 is going to be a ground ball. That grounder is going to go to second base. Second baseman Gardner is a 3 on Mantle. See if he's out at first or second. He is on a 4-6. And the shortstop on the turn is Versal. He's a 3 on Maris. And we roll a 10, and he is safe. So Maris is aboard on a fielder's choice, 4-6. That's going to bring up Bill Skowron as New York is running out of outs. Skowron, he is 0 for 3 so far. It's going to be a -1 on the roll. That's going to be a big-time batter's card. Let's see if Skowron can bring him back. A 7-3, though, is going to be a flyout, and that's going to be the second out here in the bottom of the 9th, as he will fly out to left. Now, with 2 outs and a man on first, it looks like it's all up to Tony Quebec. Not the greatest offensive player, but we'll see how he does. He did have 8 home runs, so there is a chance to stay alive here. Lefty batter is going to be -1 on the roll. That's going to go down to a pitcher's card for Lee. A 7-7 is a walk, so Quebec manages to reach base. That's going to move Maris over to second, and this is the biggest threat of the ball game for New York here, as Cleet Boyer will now be the batter. He's made a couple of good plays at third base. Let's see if he can come through for New York on offense. It's going to be -1. That's going to be a pitcher's card. A 9-8. 9-8 is a double. Boyer comes through. That is going to score Maris. Quebec is, with 2 outs, going to score. We have a tie ball game here as Lee has surrendered 2 runs to New York here in the bottom of the 9th. And that's going to bring up the pitcher, Jim Coates. Well, you know we're going to have a pinch hitter now. Sadly, I already used Elston Howard. I would have liked to have had him in this situation. But let's see, who do we have? We are going to go with Jesse Gonder for our pinch hitter. So Gonder with a man on second and 2 away. Let's see if he can come through with a big hit here. It is going to be a lefty batter against a righty. Equal roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card. We did it off the pitcher's card a minute ago. But not this time. A 2-4 is going to be a ground out. And that ground out on Gonder is going to end the inning as he grounds out to third base of 5-3. But folks, opening day, we're going into extras. All right. What a game to start off. All Minnesota up until the last inning here, 9th inning. And we're going to head over now to Minnesota. Well, luckily, Don Lee, he can go a few innings. His stamina is a 4, so we're not going to have to worry about that. And we're heading over to the top of the 10th now. Jim Coates, he can go a couple innings as well, as he is a 3. All right. So let's get started with extra innings here. Opening day, Project 61, Reno Bertoya will be the batter. He is going to be a -1. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Coates. A 3-3 is going to be a strikeout. Billy Gardner, the batter, it's going to be a -1 on his roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Coates again. A 1-3 is a strikeout. Coates getting a second breath here as he is just mowing down Minnesota batters now. And that's going to bring up the pitcher. Oh. What do we do here? I mean, we're going to have to bring in a pinch hitter. And that's going to be Dan Dobik. Not the greatest option, but for players that were on the roster, it's really the only option. All right, so Dobik is going to be the pinch hitter here. And we're going to have to put in a new pitcher going into the bottom of the 10th. All right, so Dobik is going to be a -1. That's going to be a pitcher's card on Coates. And a 4-9 is going to be a walk. So Dobik reaches. And it's going to bring us to the top of the order. Roussel, who's 0 for 4 reaching on a fielder's choice. It's going to be an equal roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card. And 8-8 is a base hit. Dauber's going to go to second, Dobik. And that's going to bring up Lenny Green. He is a +1 on the roll. That's going to be a batter's card for Green. And 8-6 is a base hit. Dobik's going to come around to score, and Minnesota has a lead 3-2. Roussel is going to move with 2 outs to third base. He has a chance at going. That ball went to right field. The right fielder, Maris, has a 3-arm. Let's see what that is. You know what? Roussel is going to try it. He's going to go, and he is going to score, and that's going to move Green up to second. That is a 2 RBI single. And Green will end up at second, and Minnesota is now up 4-2. Killer is going to be up now. It's going to be an equal roll. That's a batter's card for Killer. A 1-2, though, is going to get Coates out of it, but not before Minnesota takes a 4-2 lead. And now we head to the top of the order, and we're going to need a new pitcher here for Minnesota, as Don Lee was pinch hit for. All right, so new pitcher is going to be Danny McDevitt. He was a reliever, didn't get any saves in 1961, but he did have a 1.46 WHIP and a 2.36 ERA. This will be the fifth pitcher now for Minnesota, as McDevitt will try to knock out a save here on opening day for Project 61. An exciting game here so far. All right, so that is going to bring up the top of the order. Bobby Richardson, the batter. It's going to be a +1 on a roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card. A 10-3 is going to be a walk. Richardson is aboard. That's going to bring up Hector Lopez. Lopez is going to be, let's see, he is a righty, so it's going to be a 2. It's going to be an equal roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card. A 9-10 is a possible home run. Unbelievable, but it's a -2 against a 1, so it's a -1 on a roll. They got a 7. Hector Lopez knocks it out and ties the game. Unbelievable. Wow. I'm not sure I could have scripted this. Of all the batters, Hector Lopez ties it up with a 2-run shot here against the reliever, and that's going to bring up Berra. Yogi Berra will be the batter, left-handed batter. I'm running out of room to write pitcher ratings on my score sheet. All right, so left-handed batter against a left-handed pitcher. It's going to be equal roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card. A 2-7 is going to be a situation. Our third situation of the game. We roll a 3-1. It's going to be on a first baseman. We roll a 9. Line drive hit by batter to first base. Batter is out if first baseman's defensive rating plus roll is less than 6. If roll is 7 or greater, batter is safe at first with a single to right and runners advance. So the first baseman is Killebrew. It's a -3. That's going to be a -1, so it is a line out. A line out to first base. And that's going to bring up Mantle. Mantle, a switch hitter against the lefty. It's going to be a +3 on a roll. That's going to be a batter's card. A 10-4 is a base hit. Mantle is aboard with his second hit of the game. And that's going to bring up Maris, left-handed batter. It's going to be lefty versus lefty. So yeah, it's going to be equal roll. We have a batter's card for Maris. 8-10 is a home run. Roger Maris with a walk-off bomb here on opening day, as that will be a 2-run shot. Roger Maris, a blast to put New York up 6-4 here for the final, as he gets his first hit of the season, and it is a home run. Could you end it any better? I'm not even going to go any further and just say that Roger Maris is our player of the game, as he goes 1 for 5 with a home run, 2 RBIs, and 2 runs scored. That home run coming off of Danny McDevitt, who will end up with the loss. The win is going to be given to Jim Coates. So, New York comes away victorious here. They did lose the game in historically, they did lose the game. In fact, I believe they were, I'm not sure if they were, but I think they were shut out as Pedro Ramos pitched a complete game. I'm going to do the stats and everything off camera, but that is opening day for Project 61. Please check it out. The 1961 season set to be released here on pre-order shortly if it has not been released already by the time you're watching this video. Please leave a thumbs up, leave a comment below. What a game. Couldn't have it open in 1961 season replay any better. Thank you for joining me tonight. Like I said, I'll compile all the stats and do everything off camera. Thank you for joining me. Have a great night.